I've always wondered what would happen if Naruto was the reincarnation of Ashura as well as Indra. Obviously, in the canon story, he is the reincarnation, many times over, of Ashura Otsutsuki, the son of Hagoromo. But there are many what ifs as Indra as his reincarnate. And so, what would happen if we combined the two? Canon along with fan made, what if Naruto was the reincarnation of both Ashura and Indra? And this story begins on the night that Naruto was born, also known as the Nine Tails attack. Obviously, here things would go vastly different. No, not really, I'm just kidding. Obviously, it wouldn't change. But there is a change that would prove to make a huge difference later on. And that would be Hagoromo interfering with the reincarnation cycle. Obviously, Ashura already had its host as Naruto, an innocent young boy whose fate would be a harsh one. Indra having a soon-to-be prodigy as his new host. But Hagoromo had enough. After hundreds, even thousands of years of bloodshed between his sons, their descendants, and even their reincarnations many years later on, Hagoromo had enough. They were killing each other for practically no reason. And so, this would need to end. Now. Hashirama and Madara proved to be two of the most powerful warriors in the last 100 years. And these could prove to be the same. If they were to grow up like their predecessors, it would mean so much death and destruction that Hagoromo was not ready for anymore. And so he decided, with all the energy that had been laying dormant, building up over the years, he would finally put it to use, and changed Indra and Ashura's spirit, going towards Sasuke and Naruto's bodies respectively, and diverge Indra's along into Naruto. Now I'm aware that Sasuke was born a little bit earlier than Naruto, I believe like 6 days, so I'm just going to say Hagoromo kept Indra in check until Naruto was born and then put them both into Naruto's body. And so both Ashura and Indra found themselves in the same body as their energies started to clash already. Hagoromo, although perhaps having prevented bloodshed, still had many worries. Such powerful energies clashing in the mind of a young child, it could have serious implications. And if that child decided to go down the wrong path, with the immense power he got from both reincarnations, it could also, well, not look very good. But Naruto was his ace. So innocent, he would never go down the wrong way. He saw even just when he was born, Naruto was a brave and persistent warrior, never to betray his word. But sadly, as good as Naruto's spirit was, he could not save his parents. He was merely a baby. And so his father and mother sacrificed themselves to save the village. And now we're gonna do a time skip. Obviously nothing much would happen here. Naruto would go to an adoption center, and at the age of 4, be kicked out because of, well, Danzo's shenanigans. But here, something would change. Gravely. And that is Kurama's influence on Naruto. It just wouldn't be that great. And by the way, since we're already combining both opposites, Ashura and Indra, I'm also going to combine the negative and positive side of the QB and say Naruto got the yin and yang. So, yeah, he's going to be a little busted in this. But, well, let's see. Not only is the QB much more kinder, as, well, now he has a positive side to him, he's also very powerful. But Indra and Ashura are sure to keep that in check. Kurama is incredibly afraid of Indra, as a lot of his reincarnations, especially in recent history, Madara, controlled and abused Kurama's power. And those were only a fraction of Indra's power. With Indra himself, even 10 Kuramas could not even hope to fight him. And with Ashura there, he could not do anything bad to this child. But that doesn't mean peace was in Naruto's mindscape. Ashura and Indra were clashing constantly, and had actually been arguing non-stop for the past 3 years, trying to shift the blame of the past 1,000 years of bloodshed between their two clans and families. Which is why Naruto cried a lot as a baby. Like, a lot. I mean, imagine your parents arguing for 3 years straight, and then imagine no matter where you go, you hear it in the back of your head. Not very pleasant, is it? And yet, finally, they seemed to be done. They didn't come to any kind of agreement. They weren't happy, but they were done arguing. And so, Naruto seemed to actually be able to concentrate on whatever he wanted to do. And due to the situation, he became mature very quickly. Getting kicked out of the only place he could really call home was quite depressing, and all of his possible friends, or actual friends, were gone. So there really wasn't much for Naruto to do at this point, but just to try to fill his time walking, playing in his room, whatever. The only person that was kind to him was Hiruzen and Ichiraku, who often gave him food without him having to pay for it. But all three of the spirits felt bad for Naruto. Indra was not a big fan. I mean, all his reincarnates tried to destroy the Senju and therefore also the Uzumaki clan, as the Uzumakis are a cousin of the Senju. So he really did not like Naruto and didn't want to feel pity for him. But he saw how miserable his life was, and so he really had no choice but to feel bad for him. All of these things combined would mean that neither of the three spirits, the three ghosts, reincarnations, tailed beasts, whatever you want to call them, neither of them blocked Naruto's chakra or try to influence him. Well, obviously, they wanted to influence him, but they didn't aggressively pour their chakra into him. You know, like, they kind of left him to be on his own. And Naruto's life was pretty much the same. Pretty bad, might I add, up until the age of 7. And it was on his 7th birthday that everything would change. On his birthdays, he would always get beatings, obviously, as sure was his birthday. Great to celebrate, right? But then you remember he was born on the night of the Nine-Tails attack, and so it was also a day of mourning. And whenever that day rolled around, the villagers seemed to hate Naruto with all they could. Throw bottles, chase him through the streets, comment mean things, and just all around make him feel even more unwelcome than he already was, if that's even possible. I mean, no one really accepted him, even before, and on his birthdays, it wasn't just not accepting, it was downright hating. And so he was finally caught by 3 Chunin and 2 Genin, all of whom's parents died in the Nine-Tails attack. And so they blamed Naruto himself for that. He was the Nine-Tails, that's what they were told by Danzo. And so, well, let's say Naruto didn't come out of it unscathed. He was bruised, bloody, full of sweat, tears, and would take weeks to recover. After 5 hours of laying unconscious in the streets, finally he managed to wake up and drag himself to his home, where he threw himself on his bed and then fell unconscious again. When finally, after 7 full years, Ashura decided to talk to Naruto. He tried to sympathize with him. I mean, they both did go through some very rough patches. But it was hard for Ashura to really sympathize to Naruto's situation. Sure, Indra always got all the fame and love for the absolute prodigy he was, but Ashura was never really an outcast or shunned out. And so, while sure he had gone through a lot of beatings, that was mostly on the battlefield. Not so much from his own people, his own village. The ones that you had dreams of protecting in the future. So Naruto did, of course. He wanted to be the Hokage. And so it was hard for even Ashura, who had lived many, many years and watched the world unfold in many bodies. It was hard for even him to really understand how Naruto felt. Same with Indra. Though Indra did have something to say about being backstabbed by his people. He, well, let's say, had an experience with his own family backstabbing him. At least that's what he explained to Naruto. But he really didn't understand the story. And Ashura didn't want him to hear Indra's story. And so they decided to both sit together. By the way, this was all happening in Naruto's mindscape. They all sat together, Ashura, Indra, and Naruto, and explained the story, their story. The story starting from Kaguya to Hagoromo and Hamura to themselves and their future reincarnations. And Kurama later joined in when there was a little part about the tailed beasts, obviously. But they really didn't do much for the first few hundred years, as of course they were babies. Quite cute ones, may I add. And so Naruto got to hear an incredibly story that he would definitely not hear for the last time, and would be expanded on many, many times in the future, as there was so much to tell it couldn't be fit all in one story in one go. It would take hours, even days on end to explain the full width of the story, with so many different perspectives, little anecdotes, and personal feelings on the matter, as well as many, many curious questions from Naruto. I mean, it was quite a weird story, with aliens and all that. That seemed like only in kids' stories, but guess it was real. And he really didn't know what to do with it for the first few days. But hearing of these great powers and battles, Naruto told them about his dream of wanting to be a Hokage. And he told them that he wants to do it, but so far at least, he's weak. Really weak. He can't even defend himself from people his own age. Matter of fact, sometimes even people younger than him, little kids, say mean things, and he can't do anything to protect himself. How sad is that? How embarrassing is that for him? He wants people to recognize and respect him, not bully him and call him a monster for really no reason. And after hearing all that, Kurama did explain his side of the Nine-Tailed story, which once again enlightened Naruto on the matter. But Indra took a different approach to Naruto's problems. He didn't want to give a sentimental speech and story and a good message. He wanted Naruto to achieve his goals. Sure, it wasn't an Uchiha or anything that he really liked, but if it meant that this kid would become happy, well, let's do it. And so, instead of preparing another cool story for Naruto, he decided to train the young kid. His biggest problem right now was not being able to run fast enough from Chunin and Genin, right? So why doesn't he practice running? Indra suggested. Long distances as well as sprints, as well as basically anything else, but mainly those two things, as sometimes people like to chase him for a long time to try to exhaust him. Or they just want to scare him off, and then he lets you sprint off. And so, knowing both is important. Ashura and Kurama were actually kind of surprised by this. Indra was never really the kind of guy to just come out and want to help someone, especially if there was nothing he himself could gain from it. And it was an Uzumaki, if anything. So why would he help him? But Ashura was too afraid to ask. He was happy that Indra was helping. And so Ashura wanted to come up with a plan to also help in a similar fashion. But he decided to go for the spiritual aspect. Not as much running away from his enemies, but deceiving them. And he wanted to teach Naruto the clone jutsu, with which he could set up a chop where his chi runs away. Or perhaps he doesn't even need to run. He makes a clone and then he's gone. Walks off, enjoys the rest of his day. Doesn't need to scare away. And so Naruto learned both physical and spiritual. And learned some chakra control, especially with the help of Kurama. But Indra and Ashura, I'm sure they could teach someone how to use chakra control. I mean, they basically invented it. Indra is basically an inventor of ninjutsu and hand signs. So, I think they can manage to teach a 7-year-old how to do a normal clone jutsu. But speaking of normal clone jutsu, Indra came up with an idea. Sure, this clone jutsu is great, and people seeing it from afar would chase him. But as soon as they even throw anything, or even a strong gush of wind comes, they would see that this isn't real. And even any shinobi with some sort of knowledge on the matter would know that's a clone, not a real person. And so for the actual enemies, the Genin, the Chunin, or even the Anbu, it wouldn't do anything. And so he thought of a way to have an actual physical clone, as clones, if you don't know, are really just not real. They're an imitation, a bluff. But something like the shadow clone or wood clone are real. They're physical. And so Indra wanted to make something like that. Obviously, he didn't know of the existence of the shadow clone, as I believe the second Hokage created it. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna say he doesn't know that those exist. But Ashura can help with this. Ashura obviously is a master of wood style, as all of his reincarnations are. Not really all of them, I just know Hashirama is a really strong wood user, so I'm gonna say all of them have a wood affinity. Alright? Well, the Senju ones at least. Obviously Naruto's in Senju. But now Naruto will have wood style. Just gonna say that outright. I mean, Indra and Ashura, he's gonna have wood style, alright? Especially being taught by them. And so Ashura thought of a way of actually hardening the wood in the wood style to not just become a cloud and make a clone, but really make a wood clone. Like, make a clone out of actual wood that could withstand 1, 2, maybe 3 hits if you master it. It would become a physical replica that could perhaps even be used to fight in the future. It was kind of OP. But oh well, with all that free time and free energy not being used for any kind of battle in the last years, he was able to be very creative with his chakra. And Ashura and Indra created many new jutsus with very niche needs like this in the coming months and years. And so, with Naruto learning all these jutsus, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Now, I know this episode might seem a little bit lackluster, but just know, when I compile this all into a movie, I will remake this. This is just basically my initial ideas. I know it's kind of weird to make into an actual video, but that's how I'm going to do it. Probably not for all series, I just wanted to try it here, so I can reflect on this and make a better version for the actual movie. So, look out for that. Anyways, see you in the next one. So, what if Naruto was Indra and Ashura's reincarnation? This is part 2 of the story, and now we're going to be looking into the juicy part. Naruto growing up, going into the academy, and possibly confronting the villagers. Stick around to the end to see what happens. Also, if you want to see more of the story, make sure to like to show the support. Anyways, now let's get into the story. So we left off with Naruto training to not be bullied and beaten by the other villagers anymore, so he could finally stand up for himself. One possibility was running really fast, the other making a trap, making a clone so the others would run for the clone or chase the clone, whilst Naruto would simply walk home nonchalantly. But even though none of them wanted to say it out loud, they all had considered the physical option. They all knew that if Naruto even once laid a punch and possibly did some damage to one of the Genin or Chunin, they would lay off. But was that really the reality? I mean, wouldn't that make them think, and even confirm their suspicion, that Naruto was a monster? And they would become more brutal, perhaps. No one really knew. And so that was kind of out of the option. Even if it was to be considered, could Naruto, a 7-year-old, really stand up to adults trained as shinobi? Probably not for a while. And so that was not gonna happen. But Naruto continued to train chakra, speed, and even some strength. And Indra and Ashura thought, once they were already at it, why not learn some basic skills such as tree walking and water walking? Whilst it could help him with running away, it wasn't really going to, as all the other shinobi also could learn these tricks, or already knew them. But it would certainly help him learn better chakra control, and they would make future exercises and jutsus much easier. And so, instead of going even more into detail, we're gonna skip ahead until Naruto was at the age of 8, but we're gonna skip right past his birthday onto the entrance exams of the academy. Now, these are really easy, at least for Naruto, and so he gets to go to the ninja academy and learn how to become a shinobi for the village, and is one step closer to becoming a Hokage. And so, even though he's scared of getting bullied by his classmates, he goes to the academy. And because he overslept slightly, he was the last student to get into the class, and Iruka was already there, about to welcome everyone into the school. Naruto opened the door, and everyone gasped. Except maybe Choji and Shikamaru. Even Iruka seemed a little bit shocked. Now you gotta remember, Iruka at this point didn't like Naruto. Like, he didn't hate him like the other ones, but he really didn't like him at first. I don't think many people realize or remember that when watching, since it was at the very beginning of Naruto, but Iruka wasn't a huge fan of Naruto either. Again, didn't hate him, but he really didn't like him. So it would take a little time for him to warm up to Naruto. Months, possibly a few years, but we'll see. And so, angered that Naruto was late on his first day, Iruka told him to sit down and be quiet, already expecting him to be a clown. But Naruto wasn't that anymore, and hadn't been for a long time. Ever since he started training with Indra and Ashura, and Kurama, you can't forget him. And so everyone's expectation of a loud clown was just not reality. It was based off what happened a year ago, perhaps. But the clown in Naruto never really got to fruition. Sure, Indra kind of found it funny, and actually wanted Naruto to do it a little bit, but really, Ashura and Kurama weren't gonna let that happen. And yeah, Kurama as well, because he doesn't need any more enemies. And so if he can somehow have at least his Jinchuriki, not even himself, just his Jinchuriki, have a better reputation, he's gonna do as he can. I mean, the tailed beasts really can't be hated anymore, but they kind of can if Naruto messes around. So he would try to be as careful as possible. Now, Iruka would tell everyone how in the next 4 years they're gonna practice a lot and become shinobi, ready to take the Genin exams, and that was their end goal for 4 years. And telling them that sure, the physical is cool and jutsus are great and everything, but they also have to study well and learn how to protect the villagers, not just in fights, but also protect them from day to day, and just help around. blah blah blah. Naruto wasn't really that interested in it, mostly because Ashura had already told him that hundreds, if not thousands of times, and he kind of got that mentality from Indra. And now, once again, some time would pass. All the way till 1 week into the year. The school year, that is. Since it was basically 4 school years packed into one big program, the whole introduction thing was literally the whole week. Like, one day was just a building, well, the school building, then another one was like a field trip around the town kind of thing, you know? And another one was team building activities. I hate those, by the way. And yeah, you get the idea. So after 1 whole week, they were finally gonna actually, do some schoolwork, academy, whatever. And they wanted to know, well, how strong are the students? Where are they at right now? And can we maybe compare them to where they're now and where they're gonna be in a few years? So that's exactly what they did. And exactly how are they going to measure it? In 1v1 fights. They were sparring matches, but they did encourage everyone to try their best, as then they could really compare their actual strength now and after. And so people really didn't hold back. Any family jutsu they knew, they used. Any kind of Kekkei Genkai, they tried, and they really didn't pull their punches. Which I know is a little weird for kids, but I guess that's just a little writer's power. Plot armor, if you will. And in this case, Sasuke will most definitely need it, because Sasuke is fighting Naruto. And everyone already expected how this fight is gonna go. I mean, in Uchiha, kind of a prodigy. I mean, yeah, he is a prodigy. Fighting against a clown who no one likes, with 0 friends, and who really hasn't gone out much in the past half a year. The Naruto version of a basement dweller, just that he actually looks kind of fine. And so, sure, the girls wanted to cheer on Sasuke, but they really saw no need to. Only the die-hard fans, if you will, Sakurans, actually cheered for Sasuke. Sasuke, giving it his all, pulled out 3 kunai immediately, as he threw 1 right in front of Naruto's feet and 2 beside him. Not to actually hurt him, just to show his superiority, if you will. And then dashed in for a punch. But Naruto simply stepped aside and let Sasuke fall on his nose. Really nothing happened yet, but Sasuke was already humiliated. And he really wasn't gonna let that slide. Quite literally, actually. And so he pulled out another kunai, this one aimed straight for Naruto's head. But he simply ducked and stared at Sasuke, who's still laying on the floor. "Are you gonna get up?" he asked. "Damn you!" As Sasuke tried to pull on Naruto's collar, but he simply stood up again, with Sasuke then looking like he was trying to beg Naruto, pulling on his pants. Naruto then started to walk away, but Sasuke once again wasn't gonna let that slide. As he jumped up, ran towards Naruto, with a kunai in one hand and trying to punch with the other, as well as using various kicks. Naruto dodged like a pro, swaying his upper body from side to side, as well as using his insane leg speed that he got from all the running practice. Is this really what the Uchiha prodigy has to offer? That's quite sad. Oh well, perhaps in, 4 years, he'll be stronger? Challenge me then again, and I'll consider it. Now this was really against Ashura's teachings, but Naruto did let out his ego here. Also a little bit influenced by Indra, as obviously he has that Uchiha mentality. I mean, he practically invented it. And with that, also a superiority complex. But it would have probably gone a little bit better by now, as he talked to, normal people. Well, as normal as Ashura, Naruto, and the Nine-Tailed Beast get, all in one conversation. Not really normal, but, well. Anyways, with one more punch to Sasuke's stomach, the fight was now over, with Sasuke once again laying on the floor, clenching his stomach, with him knocked out. Damn. I even pulled my punch there. Oh well, I guess really he was not up to my level, huh? You have some great tips, Indra. Thanks, kid. You did great out there, Ashura said. Sure did. And so Naruto thought he was over. But once again, someone was not gonna let that slide. And that was actually not a student, not Sasuke. It was a teacher. A teacher by the name of Mizuki. His official reasoning? Sasuke didn't give Naruto a challenge. But really, what he meant with that is Naruto is going to have a challenge standing up after this fight. And so, once again, a match was opened. But Naruto was in it once again, fighting against the teacher, Mizuki. Like, I know in the original it's actually kind of questionable, since, yeah, he wanted the scroll. I don't think he liked Naruto, but he mostly just wanted the scroll. But I'm just gonna say that he actually really dislikes Naruto. Like, full on, that he actually bent the rules to make him fight him. So, yeah, that's gonna happen. Anyways, so they step into the ring. Not really a ring, just like, whatever. I'm getting way too sidetracked here. Now, even though it really wouldn't be good in this battle, Mizuki's trying to scare Naruto first, so he can really humiliate him even more than Sasuke was. So he pulls out his huge kunai, and as soon as the starts, confirmed by Iruka, with everyone else watching, Mizuki throws a huge shuriken that Naruto simply jumped over. But since there's actually people who stood behind Naruto, Iruka actually has to run and catch the shuriken before it's too late. Damn you, Mizuki! Be careful! You don't want to hurt the students. My bad. It was an accident, Iruka. Anyways, everyone's okay, aren't they? So it's fine. Let's continue. As everyone could hear him getting really angry. You seem kind of worked up, Mizuki. What's going on? I know this really good therapist. Perhaps she could help you. Shut up. As Naruto was actually like full on taunting Mizuki at this point. Not even with Sasuke letting his ego out. No, like fully he was trying to get him to his limit. And once again, these were some tips by pro disser Indra. But it worked, as Mizuki now started running up to Naruto and used a kunai to try to slash his throat. That, once again, did not work, as Naruto caught Mizuki's hand and twisted it, not breaking the arm or hand, but giving him immense pain, and then kicked him right across the side, breaking one of his ribs. Yes, this did, no joke, actually hurt him. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, now Mizuki was completely overwhelmed, so he was not going to play around. He pulled out a second kunai now in his left hand, and was simply going to slash, not even caring if Naruto lives and survives, just trying to win. If he killed Naruto or not, it would just be a coincidence, an accident, he would call it. He was just going to defeat the Ninetales. And so he ran up to Naruto. Kunai crossed in his hands as he was running towards Naruto right in front of him. Naruto simply punched the kunais, breaking them and catapulting Mizuki all the way into a brick wall. And yeah, once again, this did actually hurt Mizuki, and broke the rest of the ribs that weren't already broken, as well as both of his arms that were holding the kunai, and got a few scars from all the shards of the kunai that were broken and flying towards him. Basically, it was gonna take him a little while to recover, which, you could imagine might or may not have fueled his hatred even more for Naruto. But he would have to be taken away by hospital staff and wasn't going to be seen for a long time. We're taking a recovery of months, maybe even a year. Who knows? But that was finally done with Naruto's matches. And so, in the unofficial ranking, Naruto was number 1, as everyone begged Iruka and asked him who was the strongest of them all. And those weren't really the point of this exercise. It was just to see themselves and compare themselves, not with anyone else, but you know how kids are. So Yeah, Naruto's unofficially crowned by Iruka himself the strongest in the class. And whilst everyone wanted to protest and call Naruto a weak dumbass, it just wasn't gonna happen. Everyone saw how powerful he was, not only taking out an Uchiha prodigy, but a literal Chunin teacher. And so the day would end with everyone being shocked of Naruto's power, and it would not stay silent. And the same day, the village council, the civilian council, Danzo, any Anbu, Jonin, or Chunin would all hear of Naruto's power, along with many of the villagers from their friends that were shinobi. And with these rumors, I'm gonna end the episode. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya! What if Naruto was Indra and Ashura's reincarnation, part 3? Now, this is where stuff really starts to pick up. Now that Naruto is officially on his path to become a shinobi, he's actually gonna give his best. And I would say him and Sasuke have an ongoing rivalry if, well, Sasuke would actually manage to become a rival for Naruto. Naruto is just way too OP. Like, realistically, Sasuke has no chance. I mean, Naruto is stronger than his teachers at this point, and, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, seriously. If you thought Naruto had plot armor and became very quickly strong in the original story, yeah, you're not ready for this. It's about 1 year into the academy, and Naruto is basically on the level of a Jonin at this point. I mean, he has all but mastered chakra control, knows many jutsus. His taijutsu is insane, especially his speed. And all in all, he is just incredible. The only issue is he lacks experience, especially in actual fighting. Now, sure, he has done some sparring, but no one really on his level. The closest thing he could get to someone on his level was in his mindscape. You know how he fought Kurama in the original story? Well, they found out that they can use this as a sparring. And so Naruto regularly spars against Ashura or Indra, and has actually sparred against Kurama a few times. But since Kurama is so big, Naruto ends up just running circles around him until he gets tired. So fighting Indra or Ashura is much more interesting. So yeah, all in all, he got strong. And whilst at first Sasuke was in denial, thinking that it was a fluke, in reality, if he really used his powers, his Uchiha powers, like the Sharingan, he would have won. But after 3 more months of realizing that Naruto is getting stronger day by day, he stopped that and realized, yeah, if I really want to consider myself even a rival, I'm gonna need to up my game. And so this rivalry actually pushed Sasuke much further, as in canon he was just there. I mean, sure, he wanted to overthrow Itachi and kill him for his misdeeds at some point, but here the threat was right in front of him every day. Not just a distant memory from years ago, but he would meet and talk to him every day. Well, not really talk. Sasuke wasn't a huge fan of Naruto, but they could have if they wanted to. Naruto wasn't hostile to Sasuke, but, you know, they weren't huge friends. And so, whenever Sasuke did approach Naruto, he was friendly, but he wouldn't be the one to approach him, as to not spark more conflict. All of this made Naruto more popular amongst his teachers, his fellow students, and even some of the villagers. Sure, most of them really didn't like Naruto still, but some of them at least considered that, well, he's a powerful shinobi, we could definitely use him in the future. And so, he wasn't, well, accepted into the village, but he was appreciated by some. Now, skipping to a little more interesting stuff, we see him doing something in the Uchiha massacre. Now, yes, I am aware that canonically it would have already happened quite a bit ago. I believe it started like 2 weeks after Sasuke started the academy? 2 weeks before or after, I'm not sure. I think it was after he started the academy. But we're gonna ignore that, and this time it happens about 1 year after the academy starts. I'm just gonna say that somehow things cooled down a little bit when the academy started, and the heir of the Uchiha clan went into the academy and kind of united with the other Uchiha kids. And I don't know, that somehow cooled down relations with the Uchiha and the rest of the Konoha, and so everything was postponed by about 1 year. So obviously, our favorite character Danzo gave off the order to Itachi to, stop the rebellion, if you will. The coup d'etat, if you will. And so, with all this happening, obviously Naruto is present here, so Sasuke. Sasuke had started training now, so he's quite a bit stronger than in canon, but not hugely. He most definitely won't do anything to Itachi or anyone of the like, and is still only a spectator. But all this training does mean he's more confident, and perhaps less shaken up. Naruto, on the other hand, felt that something was wrong. Ashura and Kurama had helped Naruto gain very good control of his chakra, and so he noticed shifts in it. Now, this is going to be kind of like the Force in Star Wars, and I'm going to take inspiration from it. But imagine shifts in the Force, like from good to bad, dark side, good light side, whatever. But imagine that in chakra. So I'm going to imagine this, that, well, Uchiha, we know obviously you have the Sharingan. The Sharingan is a very different kind of chakra than most. We saw that it is filled with hate and anger, sadness, and obviously Naruto can now feel that. And so noticing that it's going away, and that would usually be a good thing. I mean, anger and sadness going away would be great, but it's going at an immense rate, and it feels different than just slight changes in mood. Rather, it feels like people are dying. And so when this continues for about 5 minutes, constantly actually getting faster, Naruto is worried and goes to the Uchiha compound, the most prominent suspect, as it is the most hate-filled place at the moment. But what he sees is shocking. Streets filled with blood and bodies of Uchiha, a lot of whom he actually knows, or knew, rather. And so he continues walking, but is still noticing a shift in the chakra. And so it must be still going on. So he starts running faster and faster, and goes through many alleys, until he finds Itachi about to enter a home still with the lights on. You can hear children playing inside. As it was already evening, probably some sort of party. But Itachi was about to, ruin the place. But Naruto could not let that happen. And so he dashed forward, tackling Itachi, not knowing who it was from the distance, as he merely saw a man holding a bloody kunai. He could never be sure. But then he backed off, seeing as it was Itachi, a well-respected shinobi, and one that Naruto knew, obviously, as it is Sasuke's brother. And Itachi did actually once go up to Naruto, congratulating him on defeating Sasuke in their sparring match, which made Naruto feel really happy. And so he always kind of liked Itachi for just being kinder than everyone else, or at least that's what it seemed like. He asked what was going on, why was everyone gone, who did this, and was Itachi hurt? There was blood on his clothes, so I'm sorry, Naruto. As before Itachi could answer any of Naruto's questions, he started dozing off and hit the ground. But not before Itachi caught him and laid him down slowly, continuing his conquest, if you will. But Naruto was not going to let that happen. He would not be defeated so easily. 1 millisecond after he was knocked out, time seemed to slow, and he talked to Ashura, Indra, and Kurama, even though no time at all passed in the real world. Well, almost no time. About 2 seconds passed in real life, whilst in Naruto's conversation, about 10 minutes passed. And from that he had concluded he would fight Itachi. The three spirits who had guided him the past 1.5, about 2 years now, told him exactly what happened. Itachi put him in a genjutsu. And so he was most likely the one to blame for this massacre. Naruto didn't want to believe it at first, but after thinking about it, he had been a little different for a while now, and he knew about his friend passing. And so, was it really that far-fetched? It really wasn't. Naruto woke up with Itachi nowhere in sight, but still, he heard the children playing, and so once again, he dashed at Itachi, first going up the stairs, and then tackling him once again, this time not just to be sure, this time to attack Itachi. Itachi didn't expect Naruto to wake up that fast, and so he was completely startled, even more than the first time. But Naruto was aggressive and started punching Itachi's face with both of his fists sitting on his chest. But Itachi wasn't going to let that slide. He once again tried to use his Sharingan abilities, this time not even knocking him out for a few seconds. No, not at all. This time it did absolutely nothing. And actually, something weird happened. Naruto's eyes flared red for a second. The red that was seen in Uchiha's eyes of the Sharingan. He didn't have the Sharingan, at least not to his knowledge or Itachi's knowledge, but it was right there. That was the redness of the Sharingan. And for a second, Naruto's vision was kind of weird. But that would be speculation for another day. For now, he was fighting one of the strongest shinobi in the village. But he had been preparing for this, or at least something like it. He had imagined what a Jonin or an Anbu would fight like, though never in a small space like this, with kids watching him from the sideline. And so he could not risk collateral damage at all. Why? Why did you do this? Naruto screamed, as he actually started to have tears run down his face. Naruto didn't like the Uchiha, but he didn't mind them. He definitely knew what it felt like not being liked by the rest of the village and being looked down upon, even banished to some degree. And so the Uchiha also kind of sympathized with him. That and the fact that it was just a huge shock that Itachi would do something like this. Naruto knew the tensions between Konoha and Uchiha were very high, especially right now. But something like this? It's outrageous. Especially Itachi, who is doing this to his own family. Now, Naruto and Itachi would continue to fight, as Naruto once again tried to tackle Itachi, this time out the window. But Itachi simply dodged, as Naruto flew out of the building, and Itachi once again tried to finish his business. But Naruto had been practicing running quite a bit, and so he ran up the stairs like no other, and uppercut Itachi. But when Itachi sliced back with his kunai, Naruto simply poofed, as this was not the real one. The real one came out of the floor and uppercut Itachi once more, this time much heavier. And this was indeed the real Naruto, blocking and dodging any attack thrown at him. And now Itachi was done for. Seeing that this fight would be very difficult, much more difficult than he anticipated, he used a flame jutsu that would probably light a fire to this building and everything near it. So Naruto would be preoccupied saving these kids. But that didn't succeed. When Itachi was about to use the jutsu and blow out air that would become the fire, Naruto smashed his hands against Itachi's mouth, closing it shut, pushing him to the ground. And then Naruto once again had the upper hand, this time with Itachi being out of tricks. He could only run away, and so he had to. Suddenly, a crow went through the window that was now smashed by Naruto, and used Amaterasu, which made Naruto's clothes start to burn with a black flame that would not go out no matter what he did. And so immediately he threw his outer jacket out the window, careful so it doesn't light a fire to any other building. But then he looked back and Itachi was gone, along with the crow. Luckily though, the kids were safe. Naruto made 5 clones that would secure the perimeter, with 3 of them staying close and protecting the 5 kids. But the real Naruto would go out and venture for survivors, and that Itachi was gone. But what he saw was worse than expected. There was, again, a light. This one in Sasuke's house. Or rather, the house of the leader of the Uchiha clan. When entering, he saw Sasuke. In front of him, Itachi, standing on top of the corpses of his father and mother, Fugaku and Mikoto Uchiha. Sasuke passed out, either from stress or genjutsu, probably the latter, and Itachi left. Naruto went back to make sure that the kids were safe, and then sent out 10 more clones to look for any survivors. But that was it. No one was left. It was Sasuke and these 5 kids that would carry on the Uchiha name. The rest were brutally massacred by Itachi Uchiha, now fugitive and soon to be part of the Akatsuki. A few days later, the 5 kids and Sasuke would all be in a hospital, waking up one by one. As the 5 kids didn't really have that many injuries, a lot of it was just shock, which is when Sasuke swore revenge on Itachi. At the same time, he also saw Naruto in a different light now. He had been there. He had saved 5 Uchiha kids from his brother's wrath. They would start to have a different kind of relationship. Before they were more of rivals, now Sasuke had much more respect for Naruto. They could actually become sort of friends. No, they weren't besties, but compared to what they were before, or a year ago, it was day and night. And Naruto was really happy with this, and he also got along with the 5 kids he rescued. Of course, they were infinitely thankful to him, but all of them were hit by their friends' and family's death. Especially Sasuke, who obviously it had been by his own brother. And at first, some of the kids disliked Sasuke for it. His brother was the one that killed their family. But after about a week, all of them would realize that was not the truth. It wasn't Sasuke's fault. He had no control over his older brother. And so they had to live with the fact they were now the only remaining Uchiha. The 6th of them, as well as Naruto, seen as their protector. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. What if Naruto was the reincarnation of Indra and Ashura, part 4. In the last part, we saw the, Uchiha matter happen, and Naruto rescuing 5 people. Now, I did refer to these 5 as kids, but depending on your definition, they're not all really kids. Or rather, I should say, they're not all younger than Naruto. One of them is Izumi, which you may or may not know is Itachi's girlfriend. Or kind of girlfriend, at least when they were younger. You know, the girl with all those flashbacks of Itachi playing on the lake? Yeah, that one. But instead of telling you all their names and who they are right now, you're gonna find out throughout the story. Now, as I already said, Naruto and Sasuke's relationship would change. And so now, rather than being an enemy, Sasuke saw Naruto much more as a shinobi he can actually learn from. Now, out of everyone, Izumi was probably shaken up the most. Sure, she had lost her family and friends just like everyone else, but it was by someone she admired, someone she loved, even. Now, Izumi, as a shinobi, she wasn't, powerful, but she wasn't that weak either. As an Uchiha, obviously, she had, or at least had the ability to have a Sharingan. And to be completely honest, I'm actually not sure if she has the Sharingan. She probably does, but if she doesn't, well, now she most definitely has it. I mean, after this event, yeah, you can figure. Now, with this in mind, obviously she was trying to protect the other kids, all of which are considerably younger than her. But seeing Naruto fight and kind of defeat Itachi is a surprise, but a very welcome one. So obviously they would also build a good friendship. As weeks and months pass, the Uchiha could once again live in the Uchiha compound, now very empty. But Naruto often visits, which is very kind of him, and Izumi does often have get-togethers with everyone to cheer up the mood. And so, with Naruto and Sasuke becoming more friendly rivals, they would obviously learn a lot from each other and become very powerful. But there is still one mystery. What were those red eyes that Naruto had for a second? The weird vision all of a sudden. Was that perhaps the genjutsu that Itachi put on me? But I thought it didn't work. Now, Indra, and kind of Kurama, but mostly Indra, had a suspicion of what this was. Him, who was, I believe, the second person who ever had the Sharingan, is obviously an expert in it, but he wouldn't say anything for now. It was kind of weird to think, but at the same time, it would make sense. I mean, Indra, the founder of the Uchiha clan, lives inside Naruto, so him having the Sharingan wouldn't be that far-fetched. I mean, their entire situation is far-fetched, so this wouldn't really be that crazy. But the mystery would stay just that, a mystery. Now once again we're going to skip a little forward. Naruto and Sasuke do great in the academy and are now actual friends. Still not besties, but in the academy whenever they can, they do work together as they're the only ones that can challenge each other. They do sometimes spar even off school, because both of them have their own ambitions to become stronger. Obviously Sasuke for Itachi, and Naruto for, well, getting the village to like him, basically. And Izumi would kind of become a big sister for both of them. Yes, even Naruto. And so they would become the legendary duo of Konoha. Sasuke loved by all, Naruto loved by quite a few. At least in comparison to canon. Now, all the way to the Genin exams, 4 years after they first enrolled, and they would pass with flying colors in both physical and the written test. I mean, at this point, it's just easy for them. Naruto didn't do that crazy in them, but in this version, he does. I mean, he has the knowledge of Ashura and Indra, and of course, is extremely powerful. Now, Mizuki, who still hates Naruto, and actually just recovered 2 years ago from the injuries he got 1 week after school started. It was pretty rough. She obviously wants to get back at Naruto. And so, not expecting how strong Naruto really got over this time, he starts plotting. And I'm actually not sure if this is canon, I think it was in a filler episode, but Mizuki actually caught him back with some sort of fruit, I believe it was, from Orochimaru, which turned him into a tiger and made him stronger. I don't know, it was a weird episode. I'm 99% sure now recalling it that it was filler. But something similar to this would happen. I'm gonna leave out the tiger part just because it was a little bit weird. But yeah, he gets some help from Orochimaru and actually even gets 2 of his henchmen. Not any of the Sound 4 or anything like that, just some henchmen on about low Chunin level, but it certainly will help nicely. And the way they're gonna lure Naruto in is getting the scroll. Now, this would never work, obviously. I mean, he passed with flying colors, so how are they gonna do it? Well, Mizuki put up his best smile and told Naruto that he can immediately become Chunin if he gets the scroll on the same day that he passed the Genin exams. And so he does that. Now obviously he's not stupid. He knows he's not going to become a Chunin from doing this. But since it is Mizuki and he really also doesn't like him, he wants to catch him on his act. And I mean, this is the scroll of sealing we're talking about. A scroll which has many forbidden techniques, many pretty powerful ones. So perhaps Naruto can pick up a thing or two. So Naruto brings the scroll and on the way reads a little bit of it. Most notably seeing the Rasengan. He keeps that in his mind as Indra with his Sharingan and other dojutsu is able to basically memorize anything that Naruto sees. And so in some sense, Naruto has a photographic memory, as Indra, with his dojutsu, can recall anything that he ever sees or reads or whatever, and he can just tell Naruto, like, well, he remembers. So yeah, photographic memory. And so he goes through the scroll as fast as possible, but the Rasengan is still the most interesting to him. He knows that it was developed by the 4th Hokage, who by now obviously he's figured out is his father. And so he wants to see what his father was up to in his youth. Or rather, in his life. Anyways, back to the moment where Mizuki and the 2 Chunin are now standing in front of Naruto. Give me the scroll, boy. Mizuki demands, pulling out a kunai, and so do the other 2. Going right for it, huh? Alright then, I'll entertain you. As Naruto slowly puts the scroll to the floor, purposely turning his back on the 3 Chunin, knowing that the 2 less experienced ones, the one sent by Orochimaru as basically fodder, would dash at Naruto and try to get him, whilst he's not ready for a fight. But that was exactly what he was expecting, and so they were both punched into the gut and immediately knocked out. A 1v1. I swear we've had this fight before, didn't we? Maybe, was it now 4 years ago? That's weird. I'm getting some sense of deja vu. How did that fight end? I forgot. Or maybe I'm just imagining it. Let's have a fair fight, Sensei Mizuki. Damn you, you brat! As Mizuki now ate the fruit thing, whatever, and became about, I'm gonna say 5 times as powerful as in his normal state. So about from, I'd say mid-Chunin to low Jonin. Quite a power up for a normal fight. But against Naruto, I mean, he fought Itachi about 3 years ago now. And he's gotten exponentially stronger since then. So a low Jonin is, I'm sorry, it's not gonna do literally anything. Mizuki, even though he's 5 times more powerful, and even if you say 10 or 15 times, which I don't think, but whatever, he's still getting speed blitzed by Naruto. So that really doesn't matter. And then the 3 thugs are brought to the Hokage, giving Naruto a lot of pride. He saved the village from these evildoers, as he was never proud of saving the Uchiha kids. Sure, he saved 5 of them, but how many others did he let die? He didn't want to think about it. But this, he actually did something good. There were no casualties, nothing of loss, and he caught 3 thugs. So, a good day's of work. And this also increased Naruto's popularity. They saw him taking some criminals. Even though he was now only, 12? That's really impressive. And so even those who still believed Naruto was pretty evil, now didn't quite, like him, but they thought less and less that he was evil, and more that he was, a normal person, isn't that crazy? I know, right? Now back to normal school. Naruto would get his Jonin teacher, along with Sasuke as his teammate, and one more. This being Sakura, as she has already in the story a little earlier, shown signs of wanting to become a healer and learning some sort of healing jutsu. and read quite a few books of it and about it. And so pairing her with the two most powerful and also kind of reckless kids is probably a good idea, as she would keep them in check and heal them if necessary. And so Team 7 is formed, with their leader, or Jonin Sensei, being of course Kakashi, as he's most fit as someone who has a Sharingan to teach someone who also has a Sharingan, Sasuke, as there aren't that many Uchiha left. Now, it wouldn't be that much of a priority, as there are others, especially Izumi, who knows how to use a Sharingan. Like, it's not as powerful in her because she's not a fighter. Well, she can fight, but that's not what she wants to do. And so she's not a shinobi anymore. But she is very knowledgeable on the Uchiha Eye, or the Sharingan, and so has been able to teach Sasuke a lot of things. Anyways, they meet up, they talk, they do their introductions, whatever. Naruto wants to become Hokage and be respected by all the villagers, and, a little different, he wants to make sure everyone in the city is safe and treated equally. Sasuke is pretty similar to Canon. He wants to, of course, find his brother and do things to him. But another one of his goals in this timeline is he wants to care for his team and make sure that no one on his team or under his protection succumbs to death. Obviously, this is from the trauma of the night of the Uchiha massacre, and so with Naruto and Izumi helping him get through it, he has learned from it rather than wanting revenge. Now, obviously, he still wants revenge from Itachi, but he's not as blinded by his hatred, if that makes sense. You'll probably see what I mean in the future. And Sakura. She wants to become a healer, as I already mentioned, and also cares for her team very much. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the whole crush thing, as it's kind of weird. They're kids, but I am going to say Sakura likes both Naruto and Sasuke pretty equally, and Naruto is also interested in Sakura. But that's where I'm going to end that whole discussion. At least for now. And so they do the whole bell test after that, which would go pretty easy. Sasuke and Naruto have obviously sparred together, and even a couple of times sparred 2v1 against Izumi. Though as time progressed and Sasuke got stronger as well as Naruto, it just was too unfair. At first, Izumi could kind of match their power if Naruto didn't go full power and all out, but with Naruto becoming stronger, even not going serious mode, and Sasuke learning how to use more jutsu, better chakra control, and his Sharingan to not full potential, but more of its potential, all the way to being able to completely use the Tomoe. Now, he hasn't mastered it, but he can bring it forth and use it to a pretty good degree. And so, even one of them at this point is too much for Izumi, and so that didn't really work anymore. But now, the important thing is just they know how to fight together, as well as in a 1v1. And so, with some of Sakura's help, more as a support, but also sometimes going in for some punches, as I'm just gonna say, just for her to keep up a little bit. Obviously, she's gonna get stronger after, but for now, I'm just gonna say that she's a little bit stronger than Canon. Right? I'm just gonna boost her a little bit. As I said, obviously, afterwards, with some training, she will become much stronger than she is right now. It's just unfair if I give the two boys a boost and she doesn't get one. But yeah, they actually managed to get both bells and have used teamwork. So that's a major W, and Kakashi lets them pass. They do some D-rank mission, and their life as a shinobi begins. But that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. What if Naruto is Indra and Ashura's reincarnation? Part 5. Now that the battle test is over, Team 7 is officially ready to start their missions. And so, obviously, you have to start from the bottom. Here they start out with D-rank missions, though that doesn't really suit them. And so, after only 2 weeks, they want to do a C-rank. And obviously, Hokage as well as Kakashi are ready to appease them. They get a mission to obviously escort Tazna to the Land of Waves. I won't really get into it that much. I mean, you guys probably get the deal. Tazna obviously underestimates the three. They escort him, demolish the Demon Brothers. Kakashi wants to return, but obviously they're not going to. And so they go on, actually defeat Zabuza and Haku the first time. I mean, Naruto's just way too busted, and so is Sasuke. And Sakura can actually, do something here. And so at the end it's just Gato, and that's easy, basically. So yeah, it's called the Team 7 Bridge, because really all of them did something, not just Naruto. Yeah, you get the deal. Now they come back to the village and find out Chunin exams. That's something that's happening. And seem very interested. And Kakashi, seeing that, they're extremely powerful, they already signed them up to compete. And oh boy, it's certainly gonna be easy. I mean, they're all pretty smart. Yeah, even Naruto in this. And he's actually gonna get all the answers right. However, sadly doesn't do his great speech about not giving up, so actually more people who take the bait and leave the room this time. So, yeah. But, still a win for Team 7, less competition, and they still pass. So, good stuff. Round 2, Anka jumps through the window and begin. Now, going in this, they're obviously not blind, they have a plan, and know that if they just go in blind, they'll probably be surrounded by all other teams. Luckily though, they're a lot stronger than most, if not even all of the competition. So as long as they stay away from the really strong ones, perhaps from those sand people, maybe stay close to some other people from Konoha, then they should be just fine. Worst case scenario, they build a temporary alliance with others of the Konoha 12, and so bam boom, they're done, because if they don't pass, then no one will pass. Again, maybe that Gaara guy, but who knows really. By the way, Naruto didn't get to have a conversation with Gaara or Temari or Kankuro, or that situation just didn't happen. But Naruto does still know. Number one, from Kurama, Ashura, and Indra telling them that there is the first tailed Jinchuriki here, as well as the fact that he gives off the aura of a seasoned veteran, as if he's been in many fights before and this is just a regular rodeo. And the bloodlust is insane coming off him. He seems deranged almost. And so they'd be aware of him. But as luck could not come any better, they find one of those weird teams from the mist. You know what I'm talking about. The ones with the mask, very sneaky, and in short, they get destroyed. They meet up with a Sen team that's already finished. And so now they have about 3 days to just relax. And as I said, without Naruto's speech and much less people continuing to the second round, therefore now there's also even less people in the third round, and yeah, that basically means no preliminary necessary. And so it's now for the finals. Naruto gets paired up with Gaara, which would probably be the worst possible combination, as they're both Jinchuriki. But oh well, luck of the draw, I guess. And the other matchups I'm gonna reveal later. Now they have a month to prepare for this, and mostly just relax from the previous exams, but they could also put on some training for the finals to make sure they win. And that they do. Sakura trains with Kakashi, interestingly. Sasuke trains with Izumi. And Naruto obviously funds our beloved Jiraiya. There he learns the toad summoning, and when he meets the toad, he's shocked. Because you might not know this, but Ashura and Indra's father, as in Hogoromo, as well as Hamura, met the elder toad, I should say. And so him feeling that same energy surrounding Naruto as it did 1,000 years ago, Hagoromo and Hamura, was very unexpected. Sure, they know that a child of prophecy was coming, but like this? That was not expected. This could become a rival to the Otsutsuki back in the day, and that was a little bit frightening to say the least. But as a favor, for old time's sake, the Toad decided to teach Naruto Toad energy. Obviously this much earlier as in canon, but I mean Naruto is ready. He's calm, he's collected, he's powerful. And is already pretty damn good at meditation from Indra and Ashura, and Kurama obviously. And so he actually gets it down in about 2 weeks. Get it down as in mastered, of course. And so on the last day, just finishing up on some training, Naruto is now mastered. He's done. And is able to use his tailed sage chakra, his own chakra, and natural chakra, Toad chakra, all in one. And the three combined are absolutely incredible. Aggressive and passive. Strong, yet so fragile. It's a perfect combination. And so, Naruto is now more powerful than ever before. And so he gets carried away, eats some ramen, and gets a little lost in time. But no worry, after a 5-minute time extension, he still makes it on time, and realizes that Sasuke isn't even there yet, so he really didn't miss anything. Now the fights are just going to be pushed forward as they can't wait forever. But obviously Orochimaru still wants Sasuke. He didn't get to put a curse mark on him, so perhaps after this fight, he can. And then it's only a matter of time until he comes to him or he destroys himself. And so once again, I cut it a little bit short. The other fights are normal, so I don't really need to explain them. Now is Naruto's fight with Gaara. And these are truly two giants of two opposing villages clashing with each other. Immediately when they first met, and ever since, the first tailed beast, Shukaku, has been on edge, more than usual, as Kurama, Naruto's tailed beast, is his arch enemy, the Nine Tails. But there's something different this time. There's also Hagoromo's chakra, their father. Well, symbolically, obviously, it's not his real father, but you know. And so, when they now stood face to face, Shukaku calmed down a little, which was weird for Gaara, as it basically never happened, but a very welcome surprise. And with that, Gaara went to shake Naruto's hand, and obviously he accepted. Very weird, as the fight was already announced to have started, but, well, whatever. Sportsmanship, I guess. But then they do start beating each other. I mean, can't have a fight without people throwing punches, so. But these ones are different than the fight scene before. The other ones were one with intellect, such as Shikamaru. Others one with fancy jutsu. No, this was raw power. Naruto throwing Gaara into the cement walls, with Gaara jumping back from the wall and headbutting Naruto in the face, making him have a nosebleed. Now, with Naruto actually using his nine-tailed beast power, as well as some sage energy that he's been saving up, the battle completely switches. And so, Naruto wins when Gaara weirdly gives up. But I said Gaara gives up. Shukaku most definitely does not. Sure, he's soothed by the Otsutsuki chakra around Naruto, but that doesn't mean he doesn't want to fight his arch enemy. And so, with Gaara and Shukaku clashing for one of the first times in years, all hell breaks loose. Shukaku takes over Gaara's body forcefully and starts to transform into his true tailed beast form. Arm by arm, then into a half transformation, and finally, at least his goal, to become a full-tailed beast once more. To counter this, Naruto uses more power, as now this has become a real battle, but one not only fought between two kids. Now, Anbu, Chunin, summonings, etc. is all being thrown at each other. By who? Orochimaru, who disguised himself as the Kazekage. Konoha was also very different from canon. Obviously, the Uchiha massacre wasn't like it normally was, and so with 8 people surviving it, and 1 being crowned a hero for helping those people survive, the mood around Konoha was very different after it. Instead of people feeling down, feeling crushed quite literally, and Danzo gaining more power, people were ready to protect the village at all costs in case something happened like this again. And many more people returned to becoming shinobi, as well as others training harder, studying more, and overall everyone being much more willing to support the village and pull their own weight. This led to the village becoming so much more powerful, obviously as well as from the Uchiha that survived, and the new genin, which are incredibly strong this year, especially Naruto, Sasuke, and obviously Sakura. And so, in response to that, Orochimaru also geared up a little. He has so many much more powerful than in canon, since they also have not been slacking off for their training. Combine that with the fact that there is some outside help from the Akatsuki, in the form of Deidara and Sasori, as well as Itachi and Kisame. A lot of powerful members are here, and so they're ready to wage war against Konoha. Konoha makes a fallback line as they're being crushed on all fronts, inside the stadium, outside the stadium, and outside the city walls. They're being pushed back everywhere. Explosions everywhere from Deidara's bombs. The Sound Forest securing a 1v1 from Orochimaru and Hiruzen, and Naruto is still fighting Gaara. But then something changes. From losing, Konoha suddenly holds back. And then they can push back. This is because all the non-shinobi, who are still more powerful, were basically reserve troops. And now, since the village is being attacked, all of them have started fighting, and with much more strength, willpower, and being much better prepared, the fight goes very differently. Many Anbu who now don't have to worry about protecting the village itself can help the Hokage and others in the battle arena, as people like the Genin, perhaps soon to be Chunin, as well as their Jonin leaders are taking care of that. Most notably, Gai, Kakashi, and their teams. Meanwhile, Temari and Kankuro are seemingly gone, with obviously Naruto still fighting Gaara. Now, the city finally being at least somewhat able to protect himself, things are going differently, but it's far from over. No one can do anything about Deidara as he's just so high in the sky, and there's no sign of him stopping, as it only takes about a few seconds for him to create many bombs. Many buildings are crushed and people have died, especially younger people who can't protect themselves yet. But suddenly a roar erupts from the stadium. Naruto, or is it a tailed beast? It was Naruto, but with a hologram, it seems, of a tailed beast on top of him. You can see a fox howling, and Naruto screaming behind it. It was as if it was both combined. Whatever it was screaming loudly. The floor started erupting, and power streamed everywhere. And with a simple punch, Gaara was knocked back 100 meters, breaking half the stadium, and knocking down 100 trees behind him. He jumps back, double kick flips, onto the purple box that is sealing off Hiruzen and Orochimaru from the others outside, and stomps on it, and then it disappears. Orochimaru is infuriated, and is about to eat Naruto in whole as soon as he touches the ground, but he's already gone, using the air to propel himself forward, going for Gaara and finishing him off. Here, Naruto does something weird. somehow he takes in the tailed beast from Gaara and leaves less than 1% of it in Gaara himself, allowing him to live, but really he has no tailed beast. And so now Naruto is the possessor of 2 Quarter Otsutsuki, as well as 2 tailed beasts. Now, even though he really didn't need it, he's gotten a power-up unlike any imaginable. I mean, Shukaku isn't the strongest tailed beast, but he's definitely not weak either. I mean, imagine that, he just got a tailed beast. That's pretty powerful if you ask me. With that, Naruto somehow disappears once more, and when he reappears, he stands next to Orochimaru, with many people in front of him. These are the Otsutsuki, which for some reason he's now able to sense. This is due to Indra playing some tricks. Obviously Indra has a lot of experience with Dark Zetsu, and so he knew exactly where he was, and had been tracking him for a while, so he knows exactly where the Akatsuki were. And yeah, he kind of told Naruto, and with his insane speed, he got them real quick. As well as Sasori, as he was destroying many buildings and killing quite a few people. The only person that no one could fight against. At least, not for now.
Musicality.
And Naruto officially challenges all of the Akatsuki in front of him on a fair fight, 8 against 1. But really, this is far from fair, as behind Naruto you can now see not 1 ghost, but 4. 2 human-like, 1 Shukaku, and 1 of the previous one, Tailed Beast, Ninetales, Fox. These are the 4 ghosts inside of him. The spirits, if you will. And in light of his home being destroyed and people being killed, he has unlocked the true power of the things inside of him. They're able to fight for and with him. And so this is hardly a fair fight, as it's more like a 5v8. Just that Naruto has the most powerful people in all of history on his side. The ghosts suddenly disappear from behind Naruto's back and cause mayhem across the Akatsuki, splitting them up perfectly for Naruto to storm the middle, splitting them even more. Naruto is aiming for Itachi. How? How could you do this to me? With tears streaming down his face, he only becomes more powerful and faster with every kick, with every jump, with every punch, as Itachi can first keep up as normal, then his Sharingan, then his Mangekyo, and then even that fails, and his Susanoo is kicked right open with a kick of Naruto. Kicked to the ground, Itachi gets an ultimatum from Naruto. Come back to us, or die. But Naruto does not get an answer. Well, he does, but not in words. Itachi tries to use a Genjutsu, but this backfires, quite literally. Naruto seems to activate his own version of a Sharingan, and indeed it is one. From all the anger and sadness he's been feeling during this fight, he activated his Sharingan, even going as far as a Mangekyo. And now, it's able to reflect any Genjutsu coming at him. So, Itachi falls unconscious, leaving Naruto to fight the rest of the Akatsuki for now. And these are quite easy. Sasori and Deidara are destroyed by Indra and Ashura respectively. Kisame is taken on by Naruto, as well as the 2-tailed beasts as support. And Pain and Conan, who've been mostly watching for now get involved. But Pain can't really do anything. He wasn't prepared to fight, and his body being exposed like this, he really can't do anything. Because, yeah, Naruto didn't just go find Pain, he found Nagato himself. So if he actually fights, there would be a good risk of him killing himself. So Conan is mostly just protecting him for now. But that doesn't work out, And with the 5 working together, that is the 4 spirits and Naruto, the 2 are split up and eliminated. And with that, along with some other weaker Akatsuki members, it is over. The Konoha Crush was crushed. And by the way, I forgot to mention, but yeah, obviously Orochimaru got killed as well. As well as, obviously, Kakuzu and whatever. You got the deal. They're gone. And I'm sorry that it came to an abrupt end, but that's the end for his story. I mean, the Akatsuki are gone. Black Zetsu was later tracked down and then eliminated as well, as Indra obviously knew about him. And so, nothing can go wrong at this point. Naruto grows up, becomes Hokage, marries Hinata as usual, with Sasuke marrying Sakura, as others will be able to continue the pure Uchiha bloodline. The world of Naruto is safe once more, and Konoha enters a time of peace not seen since the Third Shinobi War. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!